And happy Veterans Day to all those who have served, are serving, or have family members or relatives who are. Please raise a hand digitally as well, virtually. Thank you. Thank you, beloveds, for your service. So today's service in honor of Veterans Day was partially inspired from a chance encounter that we had a few years ago. Both Dwayne and I were +1s to panel speakers at the Gay Men's Chorus performance of Trans America. Has anyone else seen that show a couple of years ago? It was very powerful. And we just struck up a conversation because neither of us were speaking, and has continued to be friends since then. I would like to share a bit about my friend and colleague. Dwayne D. Beebe is a U.S. Navy veteran who recently retired as a Master Chief Petty Officer with 29 years of active duty service. Amazing. And now serves as a senior researcher and military advisor for the Defense Organizational Climate Survey, an online survey that measures service members' perceptions to assess organizational climate. All big words to say is they take a climate survey and the leadership and command adjust to the results of the survey, which is really amazing, and it's a really powerful tool. Dwayne is a graduate of the Defense Equal Opportunity Management Institute, DOME, for those who know it as that. Spent the last 10 years of his military career as a military equal opportunity officer, most recently as the Force Climate Advisor to the commander for a worldwide naval enterprise with over 90,000 personnel. In 1992, Dwayne joined the Navy after graduating from high school to earn the GI Bill for college. Since then, he has traveled around the world, climbed the naval ranks, and worked at the White House for the past 3 presidents, and met thousands of amazing people from across and around the country. Through his experience in the military under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, he was inspired to advocate and improve the lives of LGBTQ service members and their families. And in 2014, Dwayne spearheaded the courageous efforts that resulted in the very first Pride observance on a military installation outside the Pentagon in 2014. Beebe has earned numerous awards and national recognition, a few that include the Donna Johnson Equality and Valor Awards, Service Member of the Year from the American Military Partners Association in 2015, and a Pride for Patriots recipient in 2019, the Grand Marshal Pride Parade in Memphis 2015. Hello, how did I miss that? Whew. And Pride in San Diego in 2013. Dwayne is the father of 2 grown kids, 3 grandsons, and lives in Twin Brook with his loving partner, Sean, who's also here today. There are 4 cats and 2 chickens. The surviving chickens are Eleanor and Genevieve, is that right? Edith and Genevieve. Please welcome Dwayne.
Good morning. How's everyone? I am honored to be here, and I am so happy that you asked me to come and speak today. I'm actually in my terminal leave period, so I'm still in the Navy for another month or so, but I'm on terminal leave, and after that I will be retired officially. I'm a Unitarian Universalist. I've been attending UU for years now, from all over the place, every duty station I've been at for several years now. But also on my travels, I always find a way to go to a UU church. So I've been to like so many of them all across the country on my travels, military travels. If I'm there on a Sunday, I'm at the UU church in the area. So I've met a lot of people in the UU Church, and I have found a home here where I was raised in the Church of Christ, and most of my family members, male members, were, either a preacher or active in the church. And if you know anything about the Church of Christ, it's a very conservative religion, and I was raised pretty much with these beliefs. And just a couple weeks ago, I pulled out one of my grandfathers, who was our preacher, my grandfather's Bible, and as I opened it up, on the first page were all the books that talked about homosexuality. And my grandpa died probably, 20 years ago, but I didn't even realize that in his Bible on the first cover was all these scriptures of, the sin of homosexuality. And it hit me. This is how I was raised, in a family that was against gays and lesbians in one way or another because of their religion. As I got older and I decided to join the Navy, I remember being in the recruiter's office and having to sign all the documents, and I remember there being 2 questions about homosexuality, and this was before Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So they could ask, and they did ask in that time. And I remember the 2 questions. One was, are you homosexual? And the other one was, will you or do you intend to act out those thoughts? And I can remember I was 17 years old in high school and wanting to join the Navy, and it just stopped me dead in my tracks when the recruiter asked me to sign it. And I remember him telling me, oh, you just have to sign it. It's like a joke, and then when I read it, I was horrified, for one, because I was in the closet and I had been raised in this environment. But it was like one of the first times that I had to kind of answer this question of who I was inside, and somebody was asking. And of course, I said no. I denied it. I remember signing it. I still have the paperwork. That was almost 30 years ago. And then shortly a year afterwards, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was in effect. And I served on active duty the entire time frame of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which was 19 years and some odd months. I think some of you in here have also served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That I recognized a couple of you actually in here. This idea of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, it was a horrible thing. You had to go to work. You couldn't talk about your real life if you had a partner, if you had a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or what have you. You couldn't talk about that. You couldn't engage with your coworkers about your real life and about what made you a human, and it's an important part of you. And so having to live under that for 19 years, this daily secret that you live through every day when you go to work, and there might be a couple people that you work with that you're able to kind of let know who you are, but most of them, you're risking your career, you're risking your life. And as Rebecca said, I have 2 kids, and I raised those kids. And, part of surviving was also being able to take care of my kids and raise them to adulthood. And so the fear was real of losing my job, of losing my career. And it was like this never-ending, daily, pit in your stomach that you couldn't be yourself. And you start to lie about little things, you know? You start to lie about, oh, well, what did you do this weekend? Oh, yeah, you know, like you can't really tell what you really did. You know, I went on a date with my husband or with my spouse or with my boyfriend or what have you. So many, countless times that this happened to me and happened to my friends. And one of the things that I do regret is my kids having to be raised in this environment where they were also fearful, you know, and they couldn't say things to their friends or the neighbors or maybe my military coworkers that they would meet, because that put us in risk of losing our career. So this lasted for 19 years. Never thought it would end. Thought that Don't Ask, Don't Tell would be around forever. And then in 2010, President Obama put forward, you know, to end the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. And I remember that the vote in Congress, and I remember I was working in Florida for an admiral, and I was in his kitchen because I worked in his house, and I was in the kitchen and I was watching on his TV this vote for the end of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. It was in December of 2010, and I can remember just seeing the numbers click up for each congressperson that voted to end Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And it was like when we finally hit that number of it was over, it was just, I just sort of like crumbled like a baby and cried my eyes out. I couldn't believe that arc that we talk about, that arc of justice, finally landed somewhere. And all those people, not just me, all of those people that suffered under that horrible policy were free and probably never believed that they would be. So we talk about resilience, and that taught me a lot about resilience. Like living under that environment in the Navy and dealing with a lot of other things. I brought some challenge coins. You know what a challenge coin is? These are coins that military members sort of give. Do you have one over there? This gentleman has one right over here. What is your coin? Submarine. Okay, what submarine? Okay, great. Anybody else have a challenge coin? So we keep these in our pocket, and you got to keep it in your pocket, right? What happens if you don't have it? Yeah, you get to buy the round. You get to buy the round. So if I am somewhere and I challenge you with a coin, you better be carrying your coin, because if not, you're going to buy a round for everybody in the room, right? But these coins are special. Each one of them, right? They tell a story. This one here, I bought a couple. This one here is the Purple Heart. And this is a coin that my friend Kristen Beck gave me recently when she found out that my little brother passed away in Iraq, and he was awarded the Purple Heart. So he was 20 years old, and he was in Iraq during the first wave in 2003, and on December 5th, he passed away. He was a driver in a Humvee, and at the time they didn't have a lot of protection underneath the Humvees, if you remember. And a roadside bomb went off, and my brother passed away. And it was a couple weeks before his 21st birthday, and he had just decided to stay in Iraq about a week before that and let his friend go home because his friend's wife was pregnant. And he was supposed to come home, but he decided to stay. and he passed away. So I'm sure that we've all lost somebody in our lives, and that idea of losing somebody builds up resilience in us so that we can face other things in life. What I want to talk about with resilience is I believe that resilience is a gift from God. I believe resilience is invisible. It's invisible, but it's so real. When I say resilience, I think each of us thinks of a time that we survived, a challenge that we overcame, somebody that was close to us that died, or a heartbreak, or an event in our life that was so hard, but you made it through. And that's resilience, and that is given to you by God. And God is here amongst us all, in our spirit, and we show each other God each time we're talking to each other. And I think that I'm getting a little confused with what I'm talking about, but I think the thought in my mind when Rebecca asked me what I wanted to speak about my career, I immediately thought about the hardships that I went through and the resilience that it built. And last night when I was talking to my partner, Sean, he was talking to me about that a lot of people might not have built up resilience, and that Sean told me that people need people like me who have strong resilience to help other people get through what they're getting through or what they need to get through. And so I was kind of inspired by Sean last night, thinking, what am I going to talk about with resilience? And he's like, you know what, you've gone through so much, and your stories can help people, and your resilience can help people. So I think I'm going to end it there. I have some more challenge coins, but I think I've talked enough. But I appreciate your time this morning, and Rebecca, I really appreciate you coming, or you having me here, and thank you much. Yeah.
May we end for a deep blessing of gratitude to Dwayne. Thank you for sharing your heart. He was nervous about what to talk about. Right. Thank you. And as we were having a conversation about resilience and what you just said, what came to me is that we are blessed to be a blessing, right? That's often what we say, is even our stories are a blessing because it shows someone else a way. Someone told me once that every time you go through a hard time, tell that story because it's like a roadmap to someone who needs to find their way. So thank you for sharing your stories and your light and your strength with us. Can we thank Dwayne one more time? Yes.